Hi guys, welcome to this video. I'm Prashant, I'm the founder of Word Pandit, and I'm bringing this series of videos to you wherein I cover CAT RCs and CAT passages. This is a passage analysis video in which we will cover the passage and we'll try to understand the important points that you to derive from this particular passage in order to answer the questions. So that's what we do in this particular video. So let's get started. This is a passage which is based on subnivium. What does subnivium refer to? We will get to it in the passage itself. The passage defines it for you. During the frigid season, so that's during the cold season, it's often necessary to nestle under a blanket to stay warm. Winters in North India are going to remind you of this. The temperature difference between the blanket and the air outside is so palpable that we often have trouble leaving our warm refuge. So we want warmth in winters. Many plants and animals similarly hunker down, relying on snow cover for safety from winter's harsh conditions. The small area between the snowpack and the ground called the subnivium. So basically this is the ground level and this is all the snow that has fallen on this ground, right? So this area in the middle, this is your subnivium, right? This area which is offering refuge and shelter to animals and plants, right? This might be the most important ecosystem you have never heard of, and to be honest about it, we've actually never really heard about subnivium, right? The subnivium is so well insulated and stable that its temperature holds steady at around 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. Although this might still sound cold, it definitely does. A constant temperature of 32 degrees Fahrenheit can often be 30 to 40 degrees warmer than the air temperature during the peak of winter. So outside of this, the temperature might be minus 30 or 40 degrees Celsius. Because of this large temperature difference, a wide variety of species depend on the subnivium for winter protection. So now this is the first two paragraphs effectively give you an introduction and they highlight to you what the subnivium is all about. For many organisms, uh, for many organisms living in temperate and Arctic regions, the difference between being under the snow or outside it is a matter of life and death. Consequently, disruptions to the subnivium brought about by climate change will affect everything from population dynamics to nutrient cycling through the ecosystem. So if the subnivium gets impacted right by climate change, everything is going to get affected. The formation and stability of the subnivium requires more than a few flurries. Flurries refers to nothing else but rounds of snowfall. Flurries generally refer to light snowfall, so the formation of subnivium basically requires more than light snowfall. Winter ecologists have suggested 8 inches of snow is necessary to develop a stable layer of insulation. So substantial amount of snow is required. And now he says next, the depth is not the only factor. More accurately, the stability of the subnivium depends upon the interaction between the snow and the snow depth and snow density. So two factors which are important here are, and this is what you derive from this paragraph, snow depth as well as snow density are important. Now he gives you an example again of blankets. Imagine being under a stack of blankets that are flattened and pressed together. When compressed, the blankets essentially form one compacted layer. In contrast, when they are lightly placed on top of each other, their insulative capacity increases because the air pockets between them trap heat. So basically, if snow is going to be loosely packed, air pockets are going to be formed and heat is going to trap within it. Greater depths of low density snow are therefore better at insulating the ground. Both depth and density of the snow are sensitive to temperature, which is obvious. Scientists are now beginning to explore how climate change will affect the subnivium as well as species that depend on it. At first glance, warm winters seem beneficial for species that have difficulty surviving at sub-zero temperatures. This seems to be the obvious answer, right? So even if the planet gets warmer, organisms which are struggling earlier at colder temperatures, they should be able to survive. But now this is where the author says introduces the however. The however is a word, right? It's an inflection word. It changes the direction. However, but these are words which change the direction of the text, right? Now, what does he say? However, as with most ecological phenomena, the consequences are not so straightforward. Research has shown that snow season has become shorter since 1970. When rain falls on snow, it increases the density of the snow, reduces its insulative capacity. Therefore, even though winters are expected to become warmer overall from future climate change, the subnivium will tend to become colder and more variable with less protection from the above ground temperatures. So what's going to happen is overall the winters are going to get warmer. There's going to be reduced snow. There might be increased there might be increased rain as well. This might change the density of snow as well, right? This would all lead to the subnivium getting colder, and now the organisms that depend on the subnivium, if temperatures get colder, they will struggle, right? The effects of a colder subnivium are complex. For example, shrubs such as crowberry and alpine azalea that grow along the forest floor tend to block the wind and so retain higher depths of snow around them. So what do these shrubs do? They grow along the forest floor, tend to block the wind and retain higher depths of snow around them. This captured snow helps soils insulated and in turn increases plant decomposition, nutrient release. Again, if they are going to capture snow, it's going to increase the temperatures, increase the insulation. In field experiments, researchers removed a portion of the snow cover to investigate the importance of subnivium's insulation. They found that soil frost in the snow-free area resulted in damage to plant roots and sometimes even the death of the plant. So if you are going to remove the subnivium's insulation, right, you're going to remove a portion of the snow cover, right, uh, as the temperature changes take place, you have colder subniviums, the insulation is reduced, and you expose plants to colder temperatures. What happens? There is damage to plant roots, and even death of the plant. So there are definite negatives of a colder subnivium, right, which are being highlighted here. Effectively, if you look at the overall passage, what is the overall passage doing? It's correlating climate change and subnivium for you. The impacts of climate change, what is happening with respect to the subnivium, how temperature changes, how this is such a sensitive ecosystem which is subject to a lot of change and variation if there are weather changes, if there is climate change, and the whole ecosystem can be under threat, right? And things are in this ecosystem are connected to one another. So these are the different things and pointers that you derive out of this passage, and this is what you should take out from this passage. This is not a difficult passage to read, right? Generally things related to climate change are generally understandable. They're not that challenging to read. It's just that you need to catch the finer subtext in order to answer the questions. That's important, right? Hopefully so you're clear with the analysis for this passage now. Thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, happy learning.